Peace, world. What is going on? Welcome. Shout out to everyone tuning in right now. My name is Substantial. I am Deputy Director of Words, Beats, and Life. But a lot of you who are watching me on YouTube right now, whether you are watching on my channel or Words, Beats, and Life channel, you know me for the music I've been making for over 25 plus years. And so in my journey as a recording artist, I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of amazing artists over the years. Oftentimes introduced to me by like people I respect and have been working with for quite some time. And so at one point I was asked to do a show with my brother Kokai, and there were many other performers there, and we were rocking with his amazing band. And one of the brothers I had the pleasure of meeting at this show, and it actually, now that memory serves me, it was not the first time I met this brother. It was actually the second time. But the first time I got to have in-depth conversation with him and talk about everything from music to his love of film, etc. And this was at the Kennedy Center. Through my brother Kokai, I had the pleasure of meeting this brother who I'm about to bring on right now, who goes by the name of KAMAUU. All right, so everyone, please welcome KAMAUU. All right, peace, King. How you feeling?
Grateful and healthy.
Man. Yeah, man. Great to see you, man. Great to see you. And yeah, man. And shout out to those of you watching us live, joining us in the chat as well. We'll be doing this interview. This interview will last about an hour. So if any of you have questions, we'll try to touch on a lot. But definitely, if y'all have questions in the chat, feel free to jump in. So, brother, man, where do I start? First of all, like, when I first was introduced to you, I believe it was at an event that the Recording Academy was having, where they brought YouTube to town, and Kokai introduced us briefly in passing. I think I went to listen to a little bit of your music later that night and was instantly impressed at that time. Then we meet again at the Kennedy Center. I get to see you live. And that was a whole different experience. And it's amazing. It's even more amazing now because we talked off camera about how maybe that wasn't our best performance, either one of us, right?
Yeah.
But that just speaks to how we see ourselves versus how the world sees us, right? I still could see your greatness in that moment. And I understood why Kokai had asked you there and why he was like, this is a young brother you need to know. But yeah, man, but first and foremost, welcome home. I know you're back in town now, man. How's it feel to be back? How's the family doing? You excited for this weekend?
Yeah, family's good. And it's coming home always feels like a settling of commotion. You know, I mean, the part of the DMV I live in is pretty quiet too. So it's contrasty. Even if I'm coming from a quiet place, the transit there is usually just a lot of motion and commotion. And landing here, I'm in my childhood home now, and the neighborhood that I grew up in, and it's a great feeling of. I think the best way I could describe it is settling, which is a calming effect on me.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So let's talk about part of the reason why you're back, right? You know, because I'm assuming we're not the only thing you got going on this weekend, but you're one of the many great artists that we have featured at the second annual DMV Made festival that's presented by Words, Beats, and Life. So what I want to start with is, what does DMV Made mean to you? What does it mean to be DMV Made?
To be DMV Made. I think that a lot of people, there's always going to be I think a bias towards, you know, your home. Well, for the most part, I mean, some places people are from, you might not have great feelings towards, but I think oftentimes there's a bias in an artist to the place where they artistically, you know, developed. I specifically, unlike a lot of artists in the area or that might represent the area, I wasn't raised on I guess go-go music or the music that's native to the area. I did develop a love for it, but I think the house that I was raised in is something that it was easy for me to find in the DMV area was a genuine love of music and a genuine love of the exploratory approach of music.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fostered in, Words, Beats, and Life as well. Um, Outside of embracing local music, there was I think the DMV area is whether it's represented or not, often is a place where there is a deep love of music in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is an appreciation of live music and of just um, musical excellence that's reflected in the school systems and in the educational system. To the I started in a band in sixth grade, fifth grade here. But
Okay.
before that, I went to this African school called Ujma, and
Mm-hmm.
it was the oldest independent African school in the country.
Wow.
And Ujma Shule, my introduction was actually my actual introduction to music as a performer, in the sense that we
Mm-hmm.
had to it was mandatory for all the boys to play the djembe. It was mandatory for all the boys to do capoeira outside of martial art,
Mm-hmm.
and um, is also a musical culture too, because when people
Yep.
spar in the middle, you sing in a circle around the people sparring. So even that, there's just like this diversity beyond what DC is known for. And then growing up in my father's home, just the love of just like music from Japan and Senegal, and then Kennedy Center, and you have so many places to bring musicians from around the world. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, all that to say that DMV made for me, my personal response to that is just to be from a place that really, really appreciates music on a global scale.
Mm-hmm.
Also, being that, DC is one of those places where people come from different places. They all bring their musical heritage. So when you go to Ethiopian restaurants, when you go to Indian restaurants, when you go to all these restaurants, whether it's intentional or not, there's like a love of music from the world, from the Middle East, from Eastern Europe, from East Africa, West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You go to your Ghanaian spot, your Nigerian spot. So because my parents had such a huge love of music, I was able to, in the DMV, just not going to music places, but just soak in music from the world here.
Mm. Nah, it's powerful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny, man. As you're talking, even though we're speaking from this place of, the DMV and what it means to be from here and all of that, I love that you're speaking to this. You're coming from a place of having a bit of a global mindset, right? Like, but that's still being fostered at home, and
Yeah.
how important that is. And so I kind of want to speak to that for a bit, because when I hear your music, a lot of what you're talking about now in terms of the different things you were exposed to, I can feel that, I can hear it. I've been blessed that I've traveled this planet
Yeah.
for a very long time, and so when I look at your videos, when I see you move, all this, I can see the influences, right? That being said, like, speak to, I guess, the importance of having a bit of this global mindset, like being able to love home, love what makes home unique, and appreciate it for what it is, but also at the same time still having a global mindset, being able to understand that we're all a part of this larger thing as well. How
Yeah.
is that? Why is that important, like from a personal standpoint, but also in terms of, like, when we're talking business as well? Why is a global mindset important?
Yeah. So I guess I'll go from the creative. Business can be creative, but from
Mm-hmm.
the musical side to the business side, I'll go in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think the embracing of like global culture from this home space, for me, it was interesting because I'm looking at the whole world and perceiving the world from, Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and having family in DC and Maryland. So being in DC and Maryland, often growing up. And there are certain things that I didn't fully appreciate or embrace. Also because I was a middle child,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up as like the cool kid, so I wasn't really and never really felt invited to like local things in that way. But I heard it because I lived here. But interestingly enough, as I left and I went to school in New York, and as I got opportunities to go other places through my career in music, it was interesting to one appreciate the things that I had overlooked, like go in other places, but to see and to hear the similarities of how and the differences of how people in other places and other local musics approach certain things that like are approached here, you know. And I think there's always going to be for to me something very interesting about the things that we do differently and the things that we do the same and the common denominators in both of those. So like, okay, we may drum differently, but we all use drums. You know what I mean? But then even though we drum differently, we may hit the same pockets in these different traditional styles or different local styles of drumming. And we sing differently, but we all sing. But even though we all sing differently, we may approach the same runs, but from those different cultures as well. You know, there's a specific type of singing in go-go, you know, and then there's also, you know, a heavy Black community here too. And then there's just that church sound as well. And you hear those two things dance together, but then you hear other local sounds dance with, you know, their church sounds as well. And so I think that's it's just always interesting to me how that local and I think hearing this dances with the global part too, in my head and out of my head. As far as business is concerned, I think as an independent artist, it's really good. When I say business, I mean I think I'm initially approaching it in my head like marketing wise. I'm not sure if that's where the question was.
That's fine.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of people in the world, man, and you'd be surprised. And now you have access to the world, you know, at the palm of your hand through social media, and you'd be surprised, you know, how you know people from different places because of either the similarities between their local sounds and your local sounds, or because of the differences, and the difference might hit them in just the right way because of like how you're different, how different countries will embrace and champion your sound. I know I'm not sure what it is about Australia. I've never been to Australia. I still haven't been to this day, but that was one of the first places that I experienced like an influx of like listeners, a larger influx of listeners. So there's that, and I think because of that, you'd be surprised at how many opportunities you know may come because of those different cultures and countries and markets that may appreciate your sound. I did my first sold out headline show was in Kenya, and we just having the opportunity, and that's just because of that was actually just because I have a Kenyan name, but being that now, okay, a whole bunch of people in Kenya are listening, right? And then on top of that, you have opportunities. Okay, now I have the opportunity to go out there and make it and do a show. But as I go out there and do a show, who knows how many opportunities, whether it's collaboration with other artists, okay, maybe do a sound bath out there, and then it might be a brand at that sound bath that not even a musical brand, but it could be a yoga brand, or it could be just a venue that I end up having a good relationship with, or it could be a beverage brand that either I like I like to drink while I'm there, or they may ask, hey, can we serve this at the thing? So just being present in different places in the world, either physically or from where you are, just is really good to expand your business in the realm of the focus of your business, which is music, but in all the areas surrounding and supporting music as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you mentioned the beverage thing. It triggered a memory. Another legendary artist that comes to mind, very eclectic, but I wouldn't. I'll stick with eclectic, but also most importantly, like very much a one-on-one, and that's Prince, right? I think he's maybe the first person that I saw do exactly what you're talking about, right? Like this, thinking of a beverage brand, or or even a food brand, having them present at the event to create a certain experience, right? Because I saw Prince, I think this is either 98 or 99, and as I walk in, I'm going to Pratt at the time. This is my second year at Pratt, I think. And I walk in, they're serving strawberries dipped in chocolate and like champagne. And I understood immediately, like, oh, this is what it's like to be at a Prince concert versus last week. I'm seeing like Black Moon, right? Or like, you know what I mean? Or Special Ed or whoever. Like, nah, these are different experiences, and how, like, that's I wouldn't even say it's subtle, a subtle way, but it's very much like this is what it's like to be a part of what I'm doing versus what other people are doing. Yeah, for sure. So a fun fact for the audience, you alluded to it earlier about about Words Beats in Life, and you being an alum of Words Beats in Life. So I just want you to speak to that briefly. Like, what was it like being a part of that back then, and how did it influence you?
I think it's the reason why we're having this conversation, and I don't mean that in the sense that because I was a part of it, I'm having this conversation. Because I'm doing music at all. I'm not sure. When you go back that far, everything seems massively pivotal. So that was my first recording experience ever.
Wow.
Outside.
How old were you?
I was. What was that? It was before high school. It was in middle school.
Wow.
Maybe elementary school, actually.
Wow.
Elementary school, actually. It might be elementary school.
Wow.
Elementary or middle. Yeah. But the only recording I did before that was this little, you have the little mini vocal tape recorder. Yeah. That's the only recording. And I was just like making animal sounds and just saying like,
right.
brother, and then fast forwarding it so it sounded like chipmunks.
Right.
Was it. But my first studio like recording music experience ever was with Words Beats in Life. My first, it wasn't production, but I think what kind of pushed me towards production, because I was in Words Beats in Life with my cousin, who was actually be at the show tomorrow, and he's dope. He was the first person to get me into producing.
Okay.
But my introduction to instrumentals was his father, who was a DJ, who had like CDs that would have like the acapella and instrumental versions. The only other instrumentals I heard before that was at Words Beats in Life. Because YouTube wasn't like as this huge flowering abundant thing where you could just type in instrumentals to random songs. Like inventory, the backlog of information hadn't arrived yet. So I consider my time with Words Beats in Life very like introductory to my idea of just being someone who is a creator of music. I think before that, I was an enjoyer of music that would, kind of sing to myself or rap to myself. I think I was, and maybe to my cousin, maybe. But Words Beats in Life was the first time it became a really external thing, and more than just my poetry. It was one of the first places that really kind of helped pry my middle child, introverted, doors open to, and made me feel comfortable revealing myself as an MC to people outside of my cousin, or which was prerequisite to me feeling comfortable singing, because people didn't really know I sang till I was in college. My parents didn't even know I sang till I was in college.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, but the first thing that became more comfortable was like rapping, and that was first time in the studio, like all of that, and not just with that, but just like creativity in general, because it taught me how to scratch and DJ and help refine and push my rapping a lot farther. Graffiti, and I like to draw, but I only drew like very specific things, and so being there kind of just got me in the space of just drawing other things as well. Yeah, so it was a very pivotal time. I think I use that word a lot because I think that word is the epitome of like what it represents in my life.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing, bro. So we both have a few things in common other than rapping and being from Maryland. We both went to Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York. That was a really, really cool fact that I found out about you. I was like, oh man, okay, because that's a very unique experience, right? Like
that person too.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think at the time I attended, we made up less than 6% of the population at Pratt. But how has how was your experience at Pratt, and then how did it enhance your art? How did it, like, that experience there, advance your career as well?
Yeah. Also pivotal, and I'll get into why. My experience there, it was fun. It was we got a Pratt alumni in the house. Hey.
Oh yeah, that's my wife.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I met her at Pratt. And I think
Wow.
and I think Anthony Miller as well. Yeah.
Anthony Miller, yeah. I saw him pop up. We were probably, when we were, it was probably the same. Yeah. As far as the percentage that we occupied ethnically in the population, but so the experience was, I learned a lot, and one of the main important things, especially as a creative for me, the relationships that I learned and that I gained there. Some were important, work relationships, and friendships, but just the friendships in general, like Anthony Miller. A lot of my brothers, my family, yeah. And there's not just that, not just like brothers and sisters, but faculty members that really took care of me, that I'm still in touch with. So,
yeah, man. Shout out to Adrian Jones.
Adrian Jones is the reason why I graduated. Her and Miss Peggy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but so it was a great experience. The education was good. It was really good. I think I got in for painting, and then I in foundation year ended up switching to film, and that switch also pivotal because that is also a big reason why I am still making music. I signed with Atlantic Records in 2015, which was also a great experience for many reasons. But one of the biggest and most powerful takeaways was in my time at Atlantic, by the time my time at Atlantic ended, the awareness of one of the driving factors behind my my trajectory and the growth that I've had thus far, the awareness of what that was, and it was actually my relationship with film, which I got from Pratt. But even more fundamentally, more important than the film was my understanding of how much power each creative has and how much autonomy each creative has in their trajectory. And it kind of ate away at the illusion that we're fed a lot, which really helps larger corporations. And the illusion is that the illusion is what you can do on your own. It's a dangerous balance because you need help. because we are a social species, and we need at least three for one of us to even be alive. You need you to be healthy and functional, and you need someone and someone else to do this dance that made you. And the most ideal configuration is those people sticking around. So we're a team animal. We're a social animal. We form so slowly as children. We need, not just those two, but optimally those two, their brothers and sisters, and their parents.
Right.
It takes a village to raise a child isn't just a philosophy as much as it is a, a, a species design. Like we without that, the groups that didn't have a village, you don't know about them because they didn't make it in the hunter gatherer phase. Like they couldn't keep up.
Right.
So we need each other, and it does help to have relationships with larger corporations. But my relationship with film that I got at Pratt, which was fostered in the home, like here, like in Maryland, watching kung fu movies or having movie night, and before Netflix, Blockbuster, and Vidmark movie rentals, But to fast forward, my studying of film, I think, was very, very, very important because at Atlantic, you have like when you go to a major label, there's like the honeymoon phase where they're like, you're the next.
Right.
And that's cool, but you might, a lot of times I don't really ask, like, what do you want? Do you want to be next? They're just like, you the one. You're like, but I actually like number 7,
Right.
I could pay for everything at 7, and and not in English though, like, you know what I'm saying? I do, but like, but those, like, I don't speak English, so.
Right.
But there is this like honeymoon phase where there's a lot of attention and investment into you as an artist, and they shoot for the stars, and a lot of times some people want to be in the canopy, they want to get some sun, but they don't want to be in the stars. But when you don't hit the stars and when your trajectory doesn't hit something significant to what they envisioned,
right,
significant in comparison to what they envisioned, the attention, the promptness and responses kind of wane a bit, and you just have less efficient communication, and I get as big budgets, and risks aren't taken. And this is the twilight. This is the shelf twilight that some artists enter, and the shelves get dusty, and it's harder to get like funding for like videos and for studio time and things like that. And I'm glad you asked Pratt after talking about Words, Beats, and Life, because Words, Beats, and Life was prerequisite to like me and my cousin recording ourselves in high school, right? So now I can record myself. At Pratt, now I can shoot, and I can shoot myself. And those are the main things that when you don't get those things, if you're like at a major label, there's some artists who like they don't actually make it out of their deals as musicians. Some artists, by the time they do get remembered to like, oh yeah, we want to let this artist go. that's the next communication.
Right.
Like I work at Walmart. I'm done. I'm real estate, which is good, but
right.
But during that time for me, thanks to some things that I learned here and with my family and with Words, Beats, and Life and at Pratt, during that time is where my brand grew the most. Because before that, it's really, really big. They're investing. I'm still like shooting, but we're also hiring other people doing all of this stuff.
Right.
And it's good, and I appreciate the resources, but what I appreciate the most from the label is the periods where I didn't have resources, because I had gotten so used to the resources. I was like, I got to keep putting stuff out. I got to. And so even if I wasn't putting out music, I started doing this thing called KAMAUU Day. Every Tuesday, I would drop a song, and just on social media, I would drop a song with a visual, and it'd be like 30 seconds long. And I was turning them out. I mean, I would I would have a backlog of KAMAUU days, but I might want to make a new one. And that day of the KAMAUU day, that morning, I would have already made a new song, recorded it, shot the video,
Wow.
edited it, and have it online by 12, not even using the one that I already had before.
Wow.
You know, and every Tuesday. And this is a formula that I also saw people that I admired and looked up to, a really great brother, Coda the Friend.
Oh yeah.
On that same time. And I took like from him, he was the first person I saw do subtitles in it in the slow zoom in. Like
yeah.
Film, but
I love his visuals, yeah.
And it just like posture, boom, right? And then Toby and Wigwe, Get Twisted Sundays. Every Sunday, that's consistency, you know, also subtitles. And with like just him and with Cody too, but with Toby's consistent branding, having something that with the diversity that they could come to expect that helps them now identify, you know, your brand. But all of this stuff started to happen as my as the attention kind of waned, and those tools were cultivated at PRATT, at Words Beats Life, at home, like in the neighborhood, and just, you know, yes, we're all kind of ties together in that way.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's funny, and obviously I'm older than you, but every time you said consistency or consistent in some way, shape, or form, there's a TV show back in the day, you know, Pee-wee's Playhouse, where whatever the word of the day is, it's like when you say the word, it's like, everybody screams. And every time you said it, I actually have a song called Mr. Consistent. And it's something that, like, you know, as an educator, you know, whether I'm teaching with Words Beats in Life or Omega School out in Rockville, Crescendo as well, or we're teaching abroad, I'm always just speaking to them about the importance of consistency, man. Like, you know, that I feel like part of the reason why you've been able to thrive, because every time I look up, man, there's something new from you in some way, shape, or form. And even if it is old, we can't tell. It's still new to us. But there's something, right? There's something to remind us, right? Some people, I think, like fear the oversaturation thing. But the reality of it is, in this day and age where there is so much happening, so it's so easy for people to forget about us, right? And not anything malicious, like they don't care or they just don't like it no more. Just there's a lot out here, fam. And I think I love what you're talking about and what I've seen. I mean, you're dropping these are all artists I'm very familiar with and I'm super fans of. So it's part of what I love about them. It's not what I try to explain to people sometimes. I think sometimes it's easy to look at it as people just throwing anything at the wall hoping that it sticks. And what I view it as, you know, this is a muscle to a certain extent, right? So it's important for us to get our reps in. That's one, right? But two, that doesn't have to happen in private, right? I can share this work I'm putting in with you, right? And you still might find motivation from it. You still may find something that maybe you like more than something I put way more time in, right? Like, which happens all the time. I'm sure you've experienced like you spend a ridiculous amount of money doing this elaborate song and all this time goes into the mix and all the visuals, and it comes out and it does okay. And then the one thing you spent like a part of your day just messing around and that thing is out of here, right? Like, so, but nah, man, I appreciate you really touching on that consistency part, because just I think so many artists that I see go through their struggles oftentimes don't understand the importance of it, man, and how it can literally keep your career going, can keep your audience engaged. And I'm sure that and let me know if I'm wrong, do you feel like that helped that transition as well as you moved away from the majors to being an independent artist? Did that pay off?
Yeah, it did. Actually, you know, it's crazy is that my first song out of Atlantic had the best first week I've ever had. It's not the highest, it's not the most streamed song. That song has a couple years. Mango is my most streamed song, and it has some years. And
Fire record.
It did. It's done. And also it's two people, and Addie Oasis is just like killing. And so anytime she does the amount of work that she puts into her own stuff, it's just like my sister, and I appreciate her. My mom's just like, everything she does, it just comes back on the song. So it's not just me feeding that too. So so that song is just a different animal. Is also just a different breed.
That's my wife's favorite song from you.
Oh wow,
yeah. She loves that record. Yeah,
man, that's in large part of its success is the consistency of two people. But Addie Oasis is very like she always. But the song Garden had the best first week.
Wow.
Another
great record.
Those 7 days, it hit a couple million, I think, the first 7 days.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in action, fam. I remember listening to the record, being like, man, this is dope. And then I remember logging back in, checking one day to search it up, and I'm like, oh, apparently others agree. You know what I mean? That joint was out of there.
But
man, congrats.
It takes consistency is actually, I think, has more to do with humility than we expect, and maybe more to do with humility than anything else, because it's what consistency actually is. It's the acknowledgement of the reality that you don't know what's going to work, and you don't know the way, as in the directions, but you know the way. You don't know the directions as in like make a left here, make a left there, but you know the directions as in like the directions of what you need to do, regardless of whether you're lost or not. And those directions you just keep going. And the humility is that like you have a plan, you have all of these things, you do the work, but you still don't know. You'll never know. That's why you have to be consistent, because like you said, I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna have this big plan to do little, then I'm gonna have a big thing that's gonna do really well. And do jab, cross, or jab, cross, hook, right? And that hook is gonna be the big thing, and then throw the jab. But the jab's just a jab. But you got to throw the jabs because you don't know what's going to be the thing. And that's the humility. It's like, all right, I have a plan, but I'm just going to be consistent just so that like on the timing, that's not my timing, but that's God's timing. Like this, I am in action and available when God says it's time, when the universe says it's time. And that's the humility. It's like with consistency, you tap into the state of being available, you know, when you don't feel like it, when you're like uninspired. That's why people like inspiration and motivation is not valuable. I mean, it's valuable, but it's not good fuel.
Come on, bro.
You know, you need discipline and consistency. Like you're not going to be inspired. People say, well, you got to love it. Love is not commitment. It's more important.
Come on, bro. Come on. You out here preaching, bro. Come on, man. Like, hey,
consistency.
Yeah. So you know, as a visual artist, you may or may not be familiar, but you know, I don't want to assume, but have you heard of Chuck Close?
The name, but I can't.
Okay. So amazing painter, definitely worth looking up his stuff. Like would do these amazing portraits. Brilliant.
No,
he has this.
I think it's someone else. I don't know.
Okay. So has this great quote. The quote says, "Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us get up and go to work." And that quote, like, it pisses so many of my art friends off, right? So many of my artist friends off. But I was what I always tell them, I was like, man, you know, it's that quote. Also, I think of Bruce Lee's thing where he talks about unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness, right? Like this idea of you've done the thing so many times that you can turn it off and on, like it almost like a machine. Yeah. But but it's because of just relentless time put in, right? Like even when you didn't feel like it. And so yeah, so writer's block for me isn't really a thing anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's if I feel like writing, I'm gonna write something. We
Yeah.
did this workshop with these kids in Chicago, and one of the kids, when I asked them to pick themes, the kid was like, yeah, I don't know what to write. I was like, so then that's your theme. Right? That's what we're gonna write about. We're gonna write about I don't know, right? What is I don't know feel like, taste like, smell like? What do you see when you think of I don't know? Like, and it was amazing to watch this kid push through it. Like the fact that he didn't know where to start, but he turned I don't know into a song. And all of us are looking at each other in real time when the band is playing it out and they developed it. It's like, yo, this is one of the best songs. But if we let him believe that he couldn't do it just because he didn't know what to do, we wouldn't have got there. So like taking that step and pushing through is so important, man. And yeah, man. Bro, I talked, man, look, we be at this all day, bro. I'm gonna try to get back to these. So I'm gonna jump to this next one. So, man. So all right. So one of the other things that I really love about what you got going on is the fact that for lack of a better term, you've never struck me as like a one trick pony type of person, right? Like there's so many things that like I feel like the more time we spend with you, whether it's online or we're just listening to you in our headphones, like there's so much that you give, right? And so I like to think of people like you, and this is something that I call myself all the time, is a black of all trades, right? Like the multi hyphenates, right? So what are some of your favorite ways to express yourself creatively, outside of the ways that maybe people are most familiar with from you? But like, what are some of the other ways you express yourself creatively?
I like to whittle. Actually, I grab that.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. It's a little whittling action.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's nothing crazy. I wasn't taught how to whittle, so I'm just.
Is that the tool where like you kind of like you grind it up and down and it's as it's turning or something like how do you do that?
I just with a knife.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like to just like.
Got it.
A little stick from Home Depot, and I just like carved into it.
Dude, yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Yeah. When you first said it, and when you first brought out the wood, I thought of my wife and I last year for our anniversary went to Morocco, and so you see the people like working on the stones and stuff like that. So when I first saw it, I thought that's what you were talking about. But it's still amazing. Yeah, it's still.
You about to mess up and give me another hobby. I'm like, what is that?
I know, right? Listen, I'm gonna find a link. I'm gonna find a link, and I'll send you video of what we saw, man. Like. Yeah, it was pretty dope. But I think they were working mostly with stone and water doing it. But dude, that was beautiful, man.
Yeah, so whittling. And I like to write in general, not obviously songs, but I like to write like an essay in prose form as well. Actually, I got everything's at arm's reach right now, man. But I got this book right here. Is a book I'm writing, and I give you real quick. This is super quick, not quick enough for too much time. Oh, it's just a quote. Yeah, I'll just read this little one. The poor man has disobedient dragons and ends up in flames.
Wow.
And so the dragons can be your passions too. It could be your excitement. It could be a lot of things, but these are things that are passion or love is something that you can use to really elevate your life. Really
or ambition as well, right?
Yeah, but it's a dragon, so it's not good. It's not bad. It's just a power. And you have to make sure that, especially with things like that, that you create a level of obedience of those things towards your health and your well-being. And if you have disobedient dragons, they'll make your fire for you, but they also won't stop burning when it's time to, oh, yeah, I like to make music, but maybe you should also eat. Maybe you should also spend time, with your family. Maybe, and you end up in flames. Things can easily turn to obsession. So the poor man has disobedient dragons and ends up in flames, and the rich man is sane and his dragons are tamed. Something like that.
Yeah.
I like writing. That's not a essay, but I like writing essays. I like fitness stuff. I do this thing now called rope flow, which I really enjoy. And it's really just an exercise thing. It's good for my shoulders and my back. Sitting a lot as a musician.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to just be an interested person. The more interested you are, the more interesting you are. And unless you have to be interesting, especially as a creative, you want to attract attention. It's easier when you're interesting, but it's easier to be interesting when you're just interested in things, in people. You become a better salesman, when you're interested. In the audience. You become a better performer when you're interested in the audience. You become a better plumber when you're interested in whatever you're focusing on, just to be genuinely interested in, and never to let, whether you're inspired or not, never to let yourself fall victim of being familiar. To think that you just know what you're looking at. There's always something else about what you're looking at that you missed. There's always something to gain and to learn that you don't have enough of yet. You can always learn, that's why I think it's important, just to be interested. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's not interested in these things, it's being interested in being alive. And as I'm breathing right now, what's in front of me is worthy of my interest. And that's how you keep from being arrogant and bored. How can you be bored? This interest you're breathing right now, that's interesting. If there's nothing around you, I did a 3-hour meditation the other day, and you work yourself up to it, but just no music, no visuals, nothing, dark, just sitting down in the middle of the room, close your eyes and just breathe for 3 hours. That's just quicker than 2 movies,
right?
But it's it costs less, it actually pays more. But yeah, just being interested. And so those are some of the things I take interest in, but I think I just try to really feed the state of interest.
Yeah, man. It's I love that so much, because I think from a personal level, right, like becoming more interested in your, like you were just speaking to your breathing, but like your diet, your whatever, right, like these things that deal with your health. The more interested you become in that, the more better care you can take of yourself, right? But then that also applies to the business as well, right? The more interested, well, let's flip it another way. The less interested artists often are in their contracts, right? These business relationships that maybe other people are handling for them, but they're not doing the best they can to inform themselves or be interested in what's really happening outside of the creative part. We see how those things end, right? If you're not interested in your health, we see how that can go for you, right? Yeah. That's dope. I'm a spin. So we're going to close out with 2 things. Well, a third, because of course I want to make sure we take time for you to plug everything you got going on, and then of course plug DMV Made one last time, which is happening tomorrow, by the way. It's for everyone who's in the DMV area watching right now, or a little bit later tonight. But first, something I oftentimes ask young people that I work with, like, who are your OGs? Like, who's your mentor? Who's the person that you look to for both life advice or career advice, right? I know that Kokai, both times that I ran into you early on, it was because of that brother. You know what I mean? He's somebody who's been a big brother to me in this industry, and I've learned so much from that brother. And so many other people who I've shout out over the years that have kind of, just looked out for me and
Right.
giving me information to help me grow creatively, and as a man. So I want to know, like, who are those people? Who are some of those people for you, and what's like some of the best business advice they've given, and life advice.
Right. Yeah. So I think I'm really, really privileged to first and most fundamentally have just a strong family, good parents, and so
Give thanks.
yeah, and I think who also have like sound minds behind them too. My relationship with my father um, has been, I think, a place of, I think, very, very close to mentorship. All right, not close. It has been mentorship. Yeah. I think being able to go to my mother, being able to trust and go to my mother and father in general is a privilege a lot of people, don't have. Um, but also like within that, my father's mentor um, is also amazing and brilliant, man. Baba Zulu, El Sinsin Gakuru Zulu. But outside of family, like, and my brother, my sister, my cousin Kevin, all the people who been part of my journey. And all my cousins, I got a good family. Like my family, like I'm not the best when it comes to like the phone and communication, but like there's never a moment where I don't think that like they don't have my back, But within like music and creativity, I think when I first got to New York, there was a brotherhood called Big City, Big City. And there were a couple of brothers, Chet Gold, who's an amazing painter and musician, and Jules, this produced by Jules, a really great producer, kind of took me under their wing, and I became part of this group of New York rappers that kind of really helped me sharpen my pen. And this is also after, at that point, like what I had gained with my cousin and with from the mentorship from people like Two Tone at Words, Beats, and Life, they kind of got me as far as I can get. Because people at my high school, not high school, high school, and rapping and things like that, I couldn't. They didn't have the same resources, I had, and so I was with them sometimes, but then most of my time I was in school, and I think I was like, me and my cousin were the furthest when it came to rapping amongst like all of our peers, and I needed like more like peers. So that was the first time I had like peers, like people like my age who were like way better than me that could kind of like help on a more consistent hanging out basis. But when I left college, when I finished college, I developed by chance a great relationship with Odyssey. And Odyssey, I ran into him on the street, biking in the opposite direction. I didn't have a place to stay at the time. This dude like crashed on his couch.
Shout out to Amir.
Yeah. Give me food. One of my managers, who's still my manager to this day, I was hooked up with through my connection to Odyssey. The people who produced my first project, about the entire like launch of my career, that was Odyssey. Like he's like, he if not for Odyssey, even if I still ended up here, it would have taken much, much, much longer, and I would have ran into, I think, a lot more of the traditional black eyes and missing teeth. That going through the gauntlet of seeing what's legitimate, what's not legitimate. I would have ended up in a lot more wasted time, if not for Odyssey. So definitely big shout out to my brothers from Big City, Big City. Shout out to Odyssey. I think it's been so many people, man. It's like I could not mention really important people because I think I've been so privileged to attract so many people who genuinely care. looked out for. Off the top of my head, Toby and Wigwe. Toby and Wigwe has become like a big bro as well. And as far as like mentors are concerned, I have a lot of I had like mentorship, like relationships with like people who are going through it with. Like I have my brother, Simbi Lives Long, amazing MC, and him and I have had like our careers kind of like together, and there's certain things that like I mentor him on when it comes to just like the video aspect of things like that. Or just the experience that I was having like with the label, and he was just like better rapper. He's phenomenal, one of the greatest rappers ever to exist. You know, this is my honest as objective as I can get, knowing what I've heard from him. Just always been an astronomically proficient MC and just songwriter in general, one of the greatest. Yeah, man, it's like I'm having this weird moment right now where it's so many people who from a fraternal, like brotherly level, and from like a more like uncle type vibe who looked out for me.
Yeah.
So many people that I'm having like a block, like thinking.
It's all good, man.
Which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's absolutely a blessing, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I would say even people outside of like music, like Winston Duke is a great guy. You know, that's given me just a lot of insight into just, you know, dealing with and navigating this spotlight trials and tribulations. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, man. Yeah, listen, man. There's as you're speaking, I'm thinking of even more to ask you, but I definitely don't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to take a minute to, you know, just let the people know what you got going on next. Obviously, we got the show tomorrow, but yeah, man, what's next in the wonderful world of KAMAUU?
Yeah, so also want to shout out Anthony Miller. I saw you in the chat, man.
Yeah.
And I just want to echo one last thing, just the importance of community and just having good people around you. It'll be a massively deciding factor on to whether or not you get to where you want to go. They say, you know, if you want to get there quickly, go alone. But if you want to, go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And, shout out to, you know, Anthony and all of my like friends and brothers, whether I mentioned or not, that are the reason why I'm still going. You know, because I have friends. But I got a project called The Romantic Spirituals that is coming out September 2nd. Just dropped one single from it called Omnipresence just a matter of days ago, and have some other singles, Anthem and Garden, already out from the project. But Romantic Spirituals, and we'll be touring next year, but we'll be doing shows this year. We're doing a couple more shows and a ton of sound baths. Nice. Many as I can fit in, because that's the bread and butter. That's the rent money right there.
Right.
But yeah, Romantic Spirituals is the main thing. And outside of that, you know, just being grateful that I'm waking up as long as I'm doing that.
Yeah, man, for sure. What was it? We'll definitely be sharing this with some of our students. So lastly, I just would like you to take a minute just to, like, whatever advice or encouragement you could give to them. Like, what's something for these young creatives that are on their journey, or just these young, brilliant minds that's, you know, on their way to chase whatever their dreams are. Like, what would you like to say to them?
Yeah, I would say, you know, first and most importantly, you know, stay healthy. You know, it's the most important, I think, advice to do well in anything is to stay healthy, because you can't do it well. You can't do it well without healthy mind and a healthy body. And no matter how, consistent and dedicated you might be, you neglect, your health. Someone just as consistent, but that can think straight is going to beat you. It's not that it's great, but you're just not going to go as far as that other person could just be another version of you as well. So stay healthy, and stay humble, and that means you stay interested and don't think that you got it. Get it. You don't got it if you're not getting it. And if you're not getting it, that you don't got it. So don't think that you got it like that. If you're getting it, you ain't got time to act like you got it. Just stay humble. Just keep learning. Stay healthy, stay humble, and stay hungry. When you're hungry, you don't starve. And that's part of the humility. Always be willing to learn and willing to you might not have a buffet, but just collect the crumbs. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually when the opportunity presents itself, but don't be too big for bite-sized things. Stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay humble.
My brother. Yeah. KAMAUU, thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure, brother. You know what I mean? I'll probably be pestering you via text. We'll share some movie recommendations, like we pick up where we left off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, my brother. Thank you so much, man. And everybody, make sure you come out tomorrow to DMV Made, happening on the National Mall. KAMAUU will be doing this thing on stage, along with we have EU featuring Sugar Bear, Navasha. We have oh my goodness, the brother A1. I got to make sure I introduce y'all tomorrow if you haven't met him as well. And so many others, man, and a lot of health and wellness activities happening out there as well. So come out, have a great time, and KAMAUU, thank you again, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Peace.